Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
For a hero, you sure do whine a lot.
We've got Chris.
Here lies a guitar hero.
and I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. We're reading about the classic guitar hero himself who whines a lot. It is Link from Legend of Zelda. We're doing another Legend of Zelda comic. We read the Ocarina of Time manga way back when. And so now we have decided to read the Majora's Mask manga. And then also we are starting a new long read with this episode as well. We are doing Superman for All Seasons by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale from 1998. We'll be reading the first issue of that at the end of the episode. But for right now, we are focusing on Majora's Mask. And I don't know, I guess we were kind of thinking about this because, the Nintendo Switch Online has the N64 games on it now. And I think Chris said he's been playing Majora's Mask. Is that right?
I have already replayed it since they made it available, so I already beat it.
Wonderful. I've never played Majora's Mask ever, but I decided that I would, at the very least, try to replay some of the N64 Zelda that I've been replaying Ocarina of Time here. Vince, have you played? Which ones have you played?
I played every single one of them except for Phantom Hourglass and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, but I played every single one at some point other than that. But I didn't play Majora's Mask when it came out. It came out is the Nintendo 64's like last gasp. I think it came out the same day as the PlayStation 2 in the US. Like it was, which you kind of set it up for failure, but whatever. And I never played it until like I downloaded a ROM of it, I want to say. The horror. And then I didn't really get it, and Chris and our friend Adam told me that I was an idiot for not getting it. And then I played the 3DS version and got a little farther, and then just kind of gave up on that as well. It's one of those games that like the central mechanic intimidates me so much, even though it actually isn't a factor, that I don't want to play it. And it's the idea. It's like a Groundhog Day scenario where you keep repeating the same 3 days over and over again, and you lose some progress, but not all progress. Every like hour or so of game, and just the simple concept of like I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do that. That scares me. It makes me think about my time. It makes me anxious. I don't want to do it, even though, as Chris of 10 years ago would have said, you're stupid. That's not that big of a deal. It still intimidates me. And now with the replay, like you have to go through like a full cycle, like right at the beginning. So like getting into a new playthrough that I've played through several times, I don't want to do that first hour again. So
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have more time to talk about.
Other than that, but reading the manga, I get the whole fucking story. Think. Well, we'll find out. Chris will have to tell us whether or not this actually like mimics the actual game, or if they just
I remember with Ocarina there were a lot of differences between the game and the manga here, and I guess we can talk a little bit about that. It's written by the same two women who wrote the Ocarina of Time manga, but they use a pen name, Akira Himakawa, but it's really A Honda and S Nagano. But this came out in 2001. Which would have been, when did the game come out? Majora's Mask?
Here, like October or November 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. So this, right afterwards, I guess. So I think it was a little bit different with the Ocarina of Time one. Maybe it was a little bit more concurrent and they didn't know what was going on. Right. But this seems to have, they had a little bit of lead time here, so they knew what was going on. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a bonus story that they're like, well, we saw some images. And I think the first chapter of this book is them kind of killing time, because I feel like the first chapter of this isn't in the game.
No. Yeah. Well, let's jump right into it. First chapter. It is a little bit of some killing time here, like Vince said, but we start with a mask salesman. He's just talking to a stranger, and he's like, "Yeah, I got all these masks for sale. Not this one though. This one's not for sale. It's very special. It's very dangerous if it gets in the wrong hands." And then it gets stolen right out from under him, and the guy runs away, and that's it.
And probably shouldn't have brought up the secret powerful mask he had.
Yeah, maybe you don't travel with it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm assuming.
I just travel with all my retro games. Here's Super Mario Land 2. Here's Ninja 5.0. Here's a very scary game.
No, where are you going with that?
My still in box copy of Shadow Hearts. Please don't look at it. It's like $500 now.
But well, so that's done. But this famous mask has been stolen from the mask salesman. Now we jump to Link and Epona. They are on their way to Hyrule. And in Hyrule, we have Captain Orson and his guard. They're at the castle. They're waiting for this master swordsman who's supposed to show up, and the guards they're all excited and like, yeah, we're gonna test our strength against this one guy. How tough could he be? What's his name? They're like, oh, his name's Link. Like, oh, we're gonna kick Link's ass. But then he shows up and he's just a kid, and they're like, oh my god, laughing at him. He has to show them the ocarina to prove that he's the real deal.
Because the last time we saw Link, he aged forward in Ocarina of Time, kicked everybody's ass as an adult, and then got de-aged back to a kid and got sent back in time 7 years. So he's a kid again. So he's got like all the experience of like beating like 7 or 8 dungeons and defeating Ganon, and now he's a child again, but he's still got all that XP. So everybody's like,
that's good. That's good. And he is a good swordsman. He shows these guards what's up. The captain warns them. He's like, yeah, don't judge him by his appearance. He beats them all super easily, trains with the captain for a little bit, kills some time, getting some dinner. And he's on his way out of there. And he's monologuing for a bit about the ocarina, kind of a little bit of recap about the last 7 years, or what happened with the 7-year jump, rather.
If this was in an anime, this would be an excuse for actors to do outrageous accents for all the guys. Like, I'm gonna beat up Link. Like, they all would have stupid voices. Like, hey,
Link,
I'm from Brooklyn.
where you walking? I'm walking here.
They're those kinds of just cannon fodder. just nothing. They're nobody. And we never see these characters again.
No, they just
we're in the game
just to establish that Link is like OP. People don't understand how good he is because he's already beaten. He's in the timeline, not to get into the whole timeline thing, but he's in the timeline where he's saved the world and gone back to being a child.
It's like Marty McFly traveling back to 1985 after having all these adventures, and no one knows.
He knows what's up. Yeah. But he has been separated from Navi now. Do we know why that happened? How that happened?
It's the end of Ocarina of Time. The fairy just flies away.
Oh, did she fly away at the end of Ocarina? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, then that's even weirder. Why is he going looking for her? She left. She's gone, dude.
Yes, he wants to meet up with her for some reason. I don't know.
In Creepypasta world, Link is dead at this point.
Okay.
Well, Link is killed by the thing that's about to happen.
In all the creepypastas.
Interesting. In the yeah. Okay, so he's in the forest looking for fairies. That's where fairies hang out. He doesn't find Navi, but he finds some other fairies. Then
Tattle and Tail, right?
Yep.
Oh, is that how they say it? Okay, I thought it was like I don't know. That didn't register for me that was Tattle and Tail. All right, I thought it was like Tale and something.
Tachle and Taile.
I thought it was fancier name than that. Okay, it's Tattle and Tail. Cool. It's that simple. I didn't get it. Then the bad guy shows up. Okay, what's this guy's name? Stall Kid? Skull Kid. All right, I should not have read a fan translation of this because they kept calling him the Stall Kid or Stock Kid. I couldn't tell if it was STALK.
No, it's Skull Kid. There's like a dead Skull Kid somewhere in Ocarina of Time, I think, right?
He's not dead. But you play a little song with him, and then you give him a mask because he thinks his face is boring in Ocarina of Time. So he is a character. But yeah, this is supposed to be the same guy, I guess.
Okay, so the Skull Kid shows up. He's got Majora's mask, and Epona is kind of like scared by it, a little shocked. Link falls off. The Skull Kid then steals the ocarina, and Link's like, "Hey, give that back!" And he puts it behind his back. He's like, "I don't got no ocarina." And he just gets on Epona and like does something to make her run away with him. Oh my god! He also takes Tail. He takes Tail. The younger brother. And the older sister fairy is Tattle. So the Skull Kid has the younger fairy. And Link has the older fairy. And that's it. Oh, does he lose his sword and shield as well here?
So I was gonna say this. You don't want to gloss over what happens here because
there's a lot that happens here. A ton happens.
So again, this is all the first minute of the game, mostly in a cutscene. But Link chases after the Skull Kid, falls off a huge cliff, and then lands in a like flower, and then Skull Kid's floating in the air and turns him into a DQ.
Well, that's afterwards. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the next thing that happens.
Okay.
That's before the fairies get separated.
I see. Oh wait, it is?
Yeah.
I feel like I got all mixed up here. There's a lot going on in this scene. But I was like, I read it as him being like in this dark world now. It's like he gets transported somewhere, but maybe canonically Link is dead, and this is just a corpse's dream.
This is him processing his death according to some fan lores.
Yes.
Yeah.
But basically, he falls down a hole, and now he's going to be in a different world. And he's a Deku scrub who doesn't have any weapons. And also, you may hear me and Chris and everybody just mispronounce names because all of these are all written games that we have no idea how anything is pronounced. It could be
That's
Deku,
true.
Deku.
There's no voice acting. You know, maybe
This
when
isn't Final Fantasy X, guys.
maybe when the Zelda 3D collection finally comes out one day, we'll
fully
have voice
Zelda,
acting for the whole thing.
Imagine all the backflips they would have to do to avoid saying Link or whatever you'd plug in as his name.
They should just not let you type in a name. Just make him Link and call it a day. Wouldn't that be so much easier?
I really liked in the South Park game where you could have a name, but Cartman just kept calling you like Dickhead the whole game. I thought
that's
was really
good too. That's good. That's smart. That's a smart.
It's like, what's your name, Vince? Now I'm calling you Dickhead. Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah. But that's basically it for
chapter 1.
This. Oh yeah. So he looks different now. He's been cursed to look like an Octorok.
No, Deku.
A DQ.
Remember those guys that would jump up and you had to hold your shield to like block their shit, and then they'd be like, "Oh, sorry."
Weren't those Octoroks?
No.
Octoroks are in the water.
Yeah.
Oh. But you also block your shots when they spit stuff out, right?
You can.
They're in the first dungeon. You have to beat them in order.
And they're more crab guys. They're more crabs than like the original Zelda.
Okay. So he's more of a Deku, a wooden type of those.
Yes.
He's under this mask spell, and he's stuck with this thing on. He doesn't know how he's going to eat. I guess we're jumping straight to chapter 2, when we really learn that these two fairies were an older sister and a younger brother. And the older sister's all mad at Link because it's his fault that they're separated. It's really not Link's fault at all, but she's not as nice as Navi. He kind of I don't remember when exactly, but he does mention this. Like, damn, I was looking for my fairy. You're not nice. Meanwhile, Link is stuck with his new face. Doesn't have a sword or shield or an ocarina or a horse, and he's kind of screwed. But Tattle says that the Skull Kid might be in Clock Town, so they head straight over there. And there's a bunch of workers there trying to like set up some scaffolding for a festival that's going to be in 3 days. Link is a little confused because he's never heard of a town this big in the forest. So this is a brand new place, Clock Town. He meets Mr. Ingo there from Lon Lon Ranch. King Zora's there, but he looks kind of different. You know, this does make it seem like kind of a dream world or something.
Well, like, so in the real world, our world, developmentally, they wanted to turn around a Zelda really quickly. So they just decided to reuse all the assets. So all these character like assets are just recontextualized in Majora's Mask, like usually with different names.
Yeah.
Right. Like Ingo is not his name in the game. In the game, I know that. Right. This is the guy who looks like Luigi, by the way. I think they reappropriated like a Luigi model to then put him in there. Does Link know in this story? He clearly in the manga, he's clearly like, these guys look like people I know. In the video game, does he also make that like aside, or is there?
I mean, you never know what Link is thinking in the video games. So it's hard to say. Like it's just ... whenever Link should be speaking. So you don't really know, but I do feel like as a player, it's hard to miss. Like you're like, oh, this is as we're about to meet, it's the cuckoo lady from Kakariko Village. Everyone is someone. So with a few exceptions, I don't think Cafe is anybody. He's just a unique character, but 90% of them are just like, oh, it's this guy, slightly different.
And I guess it's also viable that it's in like an alternate dimension of some sort. But we really don't know exactly what this place is or where it is. So they're going to go looking outside the city now. They don't see the Skull Kid anywhere in the city. So they're like, all right, let's get out of here. But one of the guards won't let him leave because he's just a little kid. And he just looks like a little Deku Nut boy. And he's like, oh, it's too dangerous for you out there.
Which is, and I love how it's even got like the black background behind him, like in the video game. Like you can't even see out of here. We're not loading anything behind this area that he is in, and the guy's gonna waddle back and forth to be like block me so I can never leave this building.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what the game does whenever you're in the DQ Link form.
Oh, terrible. Then he gets chased by this dog. I do like the model on this dog quite a bit. It kind of stands out a little bit. And then Link is all scraped up and hurt by being chased by this dog. This nice lady with a parasol.
Even the dog asset is reused. He was the dog in the clock or in the castle town that you find at night and return to its owner for a heart piece.
Oh, that's where I'm at in the game. I gotta remember looking for that dog.
Tips and tricks.
Got it. Damn, I can return this primo strategy guide I bought. Okay, so then we got this nice lady with a parasol. Her name is Anju. Is that what y'all have?
Yes.
For her name. Okay. Sees him all scraped up and takes him home to give him some medicine. Her home is the Stockpot Inn, the only hotel in town. So she just assumes this little Deku Nut boy's mom is going to be there because they're from out of town. So they're like, yeah, we'll just wait for your mom there. They go in. Anju asks her mom for the first aid kit, and mom's like, we got to close up shop. We got to take refuge. We are getting out of here. And Anju's like, no, I'm still waiting for Cafe. And Link at this point learns from talking to this lady that they are not in Hyrule anymore. They are in Termina. And Anju has never even heard of Hyrule before. So I'm like, all right, what's going on here? And the reason that Mom is like, we got to get out of here is because there's a rumor that in 3 days, the moon will fall. And we see the design on this moon, and it's got a mean-looking face, and I really like this face. Does it have a face like that in the game?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Maybe I should play this game because I like that moon's face.
You should honestly, once you get, once you probably get to adult Link in Ocarina of Time, just go to Majora's Mask. I do think it's a better game.
Okay, maybe I'll do that.
It really is. It's also like a lot like smaller of a game, and it's also like a lot different and really cool for a 2000 game. Like basically with this 3-day repeating cycle, they basically were able to make every single character like on rails. So basically you do have like a living, breathing world of like, I would say probably at least 50 NPCs who are doing whatever like on this path for 3 days straight. They're not like randomized. They're not like, where's this guy? You'll know like at 12 p.m. on the second day, this person will be at the post office. Like it's a really, really cool thing in 2000. And so you can you can like rip off the lotto because you know what the lotto numbers are going to be tomorrow.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's really fucking cool.
It's very cool. Yeah. The whole idea, it's sort of a Groundhog Day situation where you are basically starting over every time, but every dungeon you beat, it remembers that you've beaten those dungeons and you can, because of warp points, very quickly get back to anywhere you've already been. But any other progress stuff just erases, including, as Link is about to find out, characters don't remember who you are.
Oh, jeez. The worst.
But as a result, you get to know the characters a lot better, like as a player, than like any other normal game. I don't really, I forget NPCs the second I'm done with them, and this game doesn't.
Yeah, like Ocarina of Time tries to set up that you have like this long lost friendship with the little green haired girl that you leave the forest with, but then you never see her again. You play her song like a couple of times, and then you save her, and then you're like, well, that's it. Here you're actually helping the characters, and you get a sense of like their world and how you can wear different masks to find out how they feel about different other people, which is just such a cool mechanic.
I've never gotten that far. That sounds really neat.
It does make sense from stuff coming up in this comic too.
Yeah, there's a mask you can wear that will basically you get a completely unique reaction from almost every character if you wear it. Like it's very cool.
Wow. Take
so anyways,
that, PlayStation 2.
they can't
what I had this game at release, PlayStation 2, not even in stores. It was sold out in my area.
And if you could get it, you could only play Kessen and maybe Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yeah. Not even any eco yet.
Oh man. So they're everyone's trying to decide that if they're gonna like leave the town or if they're just gonna stay, and like half the town wants to keep the carnival going here because they don't believe this moon falling business. And Anju has decided that she is going to wait in the town for Cafe, her boyfriend, who she's promised to marry. But he is missing, and they're supposed to get married on the day of the carnival. So he's only got 3 days, but hopefully he turns up. And then apparently Skull Kid is responsible for making the moon fall. And he's like, sorry, there's nothing I can do. It's going to fall. That's just how it's going to go. He shows up. Oh, that's right. He shows up. This is what all right, I was a little confused. Moon's going to fall in 3 days. But then Skull Kid shows up and the moon just falls right then and there, that day. Is that what happened?
That's what it seems like is happening. Yeah, because Link chases him up there. It seems like Skull Kid immediately brings it down.
He's like, I'm just going to do it now. Okay, that makes sense. So, Skull Kid is taunting Link. Tail, the little fairy, is calling out to his sister. And he says, hey, bring the 4 from the swamp, the mountain, the ocean, and the valley. And Skull Kid smacks him for saying too much, and they get out of there. And so we know our 4 MacGuffins are going to be in the swamp, mountain, ocean, valley. That's where we got to go. Then we see the moon crash into the village.
And Kia, you might like this from the video game because basically the map is it's the city in the middle. It's the big city, and then literally it's half a field to walk to north, south, east, and west to find the other 4 dungeons. It's a much smaller, Termina Field is much smaller than Hyrule Field.
Smaller?
Yeah, but it's instantly here's where you need to fucking go. Now you're gonna go to
I'm okay with that at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coming off of Elden Ring, the open world in Ocarina of Time is pathetic. I told you, it's nothing. It's a flat open whatever. You
walk out of the north or wherever, and you're like, yep, there's that swamp area I'm supposed to go to. Yep. Let's do it.
That's cool. So this is chapter 3 now. Yeah. So Link, then, all right. So the moon crashes into the village, but then time starts reverting or something, and the moon is back in the air. What made this happen? Was Link?
There's a Song of Time, I think, in the video game.
Yeah, but I don't know what he did to get back to not having that happen the first time, because he doesn't have the ocarina.
Yeah. So it happens, and
he plays the
Link
Song of Time, and he says, "Goddess of Time, give me your strength."
But before that, the moon crashes, and then he's like, "Stop this again!" And then he's right before the moon's about to hit a second time.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. It feels like there's something kind of out of order here. Time started going backwards a little bit before he played the Song of Time.
It is funny too, because that the scene of the moon hitting, that's a game over screen. I've only seen that once or twice ever, because it's ideally you're never gonna see that. Because when you play the Song of Time, then
you panic,
you don't.
And you're the 5 seconds before it's about to hit, you're like, I gotta go back in time. Is that what you do? Or
yeah, it's there's a countdown timer, so it's you got 30 seconds, and you're like, well, just play the song. Why am I gonna wait? Because that saves your game too. So if you don't play the song, then you lose any progress you made, which I mean, presumably is not that much if you're dying and the moon is crash.
Yeah. Okay. So then Link is attacking the Skull Kid with the little bubbles that are coming out of his mouth hole, his little Deku nut mouth hole. I guess they're supposed to be nuts. They look like bubbles to me.
No, they're bubbles.
They're bubbles? Okay. Then he knocks the ocarina out of his hands or whatever, and he grabs the ocarina. Then he tries to play the Song of Time, but he doesn't have a proper mouth to play an ocarina, so the ocarina just changes itself into the Deku horns.
Yeah, a little bagpipe kind of thing. So it's really cool.
And it's cool. This is a damn dream, though. This is not real. This is all a thing.
Kia signing on for the fan theory. Link is dead.
I'm fully subscribing.
Dude, the world is called dead. Termina. That means terminate, the end. He's dead.
Oh, damn. That makes sense to me. So Link is now in the clock tower. Things are all back to normal. He meets the happy mask salesman there, who's saying, hey, I'm looking for... Yeah, he is creepy. He says, I'm looking for this important mask that I have that was stolen by a strange little demon. And tells them all about how the mask was sealed away because it has so much power. I'm then why are you just walking around with it? For real? Anyways, he's all right. He asks Link to get it back. And Link still has the Deku Nut mask, but it's fallen off of his face. So he's he's just regular now, but he's got this Deku Nut mask. Pretty nice.
this is the first pretty big change from the video game that I noticed anyway. Because in the game, after you travel back in time, there's a cutscene where the Happy Mask Salesman teaches you a song, and the song is actually what cures you of being a Deku. So he's like very involved in this whole process, and he does that first. Then he's like, "All right, now give me Majora's Mask," and you're like, "I gotta beat the game before I'll do that." And then he gets really mad and picks you up like by both arms and shakes you.
Wow.
He's a creepy dude.
there's
He's a
something off with
creepy
this
dude
guy.
in Ocarina of Time, but I like that like they've now elevated him to like a magical creepy dude. Like I don't know how much he like actually factors into the plot of this game, but like he seems like he's like out of time and like out of the world.
Yeah.
Like
I want to talk more about him at the end for sure.
Yeah,
He's
I
gonna
love the
be,
effect they do in the game where they skip frames, sort of, where he just goes from from basically like 1 to 4 or whatever.
yeah,
where
he
he'll
skips
just
his
be from,
keyframes, right, without like doing the animation. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't animate in between, so he'll just be happy and then he'll just be like enraged from like frame to frame.
I feel like I've seen some other Zelda characters do that as well, and I always like it. It seems like they move fast.
I just assumed my emulator was fucking up with them.
So Link and Tattle are now heading to the swamp. Oh wait, I skipped something. Everything is reversed, and they don't remember anything in the town. This new friend that Link has made, Anju, doesn't recognize Link or remember a Deku Nut boy or anything. And Link's a little sad that he lost a friend, and this is when Tattle's like kind of yelling at him for crying. She yells at him for crying a lot.
Yeah, and Angie's like, he's like, you remember you and that boyfriend Cafe? And she's like, Cafe, where is he? And you're like,
she's like, how do you know my boyfriend?
Yeah. I do like that Tattle is like actively antagonistic towards Link, more so than Navi, which is like, hey, listen, like she's. I mean,
honestly,
I like
from playing the video game. It's kind of the same thing where Navi is always just like, hey, we got to go do this thing. Hey, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Does
She's
she
gonna
call
tell
it,
you
like
what
I
you
feel like
gotta do.
Tattle like actively thinks you suck. Which makes
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It is funny. Whenever in the video game, if you hit the C up button, like fighting an enemy, she's like, you remember how to fight, Lizard, Liz Follos or whatever, don't you? It's really easy. And you're like, yeah, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
It's not really advice. It's easy to defeat these guys.
Cool. Good to know. So now Link and Tattle are heading to the swamp. The guard lets them out no problem this time because he's got a sword and shield. He's still a boy. I mean, I still feel like the guard should be doing his job and not letting this kid out into this dangerous world or whatever.
The guards stop you at first and look at you, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you got a sword and a shield. That's fine."
Yeah. Link notes that Termina Field looks just like Hyrule Field, but it smells different, which makes sense to me. That he's only seen one field in his life, so this is what his dream world can only fill in. But he's smelled lots of smells, so it can smell like anything. But then he heads to the swamp. The swamp smells really bad too, and Link feels like he's being poisoned. He starts to pass out. That's the end of chapter 3. Chapter 4 is all in this swamp area here. Link has passed out in this poison water. He gets saved by a bunch of monkeys who drag him out to a pure spring, and he is able to be revived. Are these monkeys in the game?
They are. This isn't exactly what
Yes.
happens. It's more that Link helps someone else, and the monkeys see him do it. They're like, help us now.
Okay, that's fair. That sounds like monkeys. But they
are there monkeys in this? Yes.
Yes, that's all I care about. The monkeys say that the poison is flowing from the top of this waterfall, and that the princess of the Deku Nut Palace went to check it out, but she was kidnapped by a monster. And so they ask Link for his help to save the princess. Link's like, all right, let me go talk to this king at the palace first. And the monkeys are like, no, you don't want to do that. And he's like, no, I'll be fine. He puts on his Deku Nut mask, so it looks like he fits right in. And the king at the Deku Nut Palace is on kind of a witch hunt, trying to figure out who kidnapped the princess. He's burning a random wolf at this stage.
Very cartoon wolf compared to like
very cartoon wolf. I feel like they hired an outside artist to draw this wolf
It
here.
looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog comic wolf.
He does look like
Yeah,
a Sonic character.
yeah.
Not in the game, I should say. This wolf, not game accurate.
Okay, okay.
It's a
Well,
monkey.
Link is also kind of an idiot here because in order to set the wolf free, he takes off his mask to do that, which is a real boneheaded move because now the king is like, who the hell is this outsider? You're the guy who took the princess. So now Link is up on the stake. Nice job, idiot. Um, Luckily, or maybe not luckily, the real bad guy here shows up. It's the god of Woodfall. What did y'all have for his name here?
Odola.
Odoa. Okay, that's what I have here.
Yeah.
Odoa. He shows up to take credit and he says, "Listen, King, you have not been offering me enough sacrifices, so I took the princess. But now I'm even more pissed, and I'm going to ravage your village." So he starts destroying everything. Link is like, "Hey, set me free. I can help you." But everyone's too busy running around screaming until the monkeys show up. They free Link. And this evil wood god has the princess trapped in a little bottle too. And so while Link is like fighting, the monkeys grab the bottle, and Link kills this evil god, and his mask falls to the ground, and his mask floats up to become like a giant of some sort who was sealed in the mask, and then he just walks away. Like, okay. And now that this evil spirit is dead, the water starts to clear up, and Link saved the day. And the princess thanks the monkeys. Then she yells at her dad for saying, "You were a fool to jump to conclusions and make more problems for everyone," which I really appreciated that. She thanks Link and asks him to stay, even though she knows he can't. But instead, she says, "Can you just put on the mask one last time?" And she kind of like, a little tear comes down her eye. And apparently he looks just like the king's dead son or something. That all came in a little quick all at once there.
Yeah, they had to wrap up the chapter, but yeah.
Yeah.
All of that is kind of in the game, but it's very like it is. Yeah, Kia, you're gonna love this game because it's very Dark Soulsy. Nothing is ever spelled out. It's just characters like, "You remind me of my dead son," and then you meet, you see like a dead Deku at the beginning of the game, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's him." Nobody ever is like this, where they're just like, "Oh, the princess is in love with the Deku Butler's son."
I'm good with that. So chapter 5 now. Chapter 5 is the mountain chapter, the snow mountain. We have a Goron face down in the snow, with some lines about how frustrating, how regretful, unclear who's speaking. But we cut to Link. Link has a cold because it's cold. And again, Tattle says, "Stop complaining so much. You're supposed to be a hero." Link finds a Goron warrior frozen in a big old block of ice, and he keeps hearing a voice that says, "How frustrating, how regrettable." And then a Goron ghost shows up. This Goron ghost is Darmani the Third, who tells Link this story about having to leave his village to go to battle, even though everyone was warning him it's too dangerous, but somebody had to, or else the blizzard would bury the town. And this small child in the village wanted to learn the fiery Goron punch from Darmani, and Darmani says, "I promise to teach it to you when I come back, little boy." Darmani went up to the mountain and fought the masked mechanical beast, Goat. Is that what his name was?
Yeah.
And he fails, and he died. Now he's just a ghost. And Link can still hear the cries of this child, and he says he can play a nice song for the child in order to get him to stop crying. And the Goron teaches him the Goron's lullaby, which is nice. I like how many songs Link learns throughout the course of these issues here, which I like it when the Zelda games have a connection with music. I feel like it's one of those things that I don't always immediately associate with the Zelda series, but it really is such an important part of it.
Yeah, it is good that there's a few like story songs, because some of it's like you don't really need to see Link learn like the Song of Storms. Like, oh yeah, this song from last game. Like, it's not important.
Yeah.
But I really like that this has like, yeah, I mean, Zelda's always had music, like the Wind Waker's also like musical. But like what were like innocuous songs, like I mean, in Ocarina of Time, like the Song of Time is the song that you play, I think, to age forward in the little temple. That's the song you play to reset time in this game. And the same song that you had like to make the day go forward, the sun song, because I was always scared of the zombies in Ocarina of Time. Like that's the song that you use to advance time throughout the days and to go to the hour in this game on the 3DS version. So like it uses them like but in more novel and more interesting ways. Specific songs that I already knew by heart from Ocarina. It's really cool.
So then once Link learns this Goron's lullaby, Darmani disappears and his mask drops down. Well, I guess not his mask. His face drops down into a mask. And Link puts it on and he turns into a Goron. And he's not as cold anymore. And I'm like, ooh, I really like this mask gimmick. This works pretty well. So he goes to this Goron village and everyone thinks he is Darmani. And this kid at first is like, I don't know, you don't talk quite like Darmani. And then Link kind of tries to talk more like a Goron, and he's starting to buy it, and he sings the lullaby, and the kid really is like, okay, yeah, it's you.
I love the drawing of the wall-eyed Link as a Goron, where he's like, "What's wrong, Uncle?" And he's just like, "I don't know what to do." Like it's a good, funny panel.
It is. I really just like Link being other people throughout all this. But Link then tells the kid, all right, I have to go finish defeating the monster. But hey, kid, don't cry. You're big and strong now. I'm going to teach you. Does he teach the kid this punch, or does the kid just like start punching on his own? I don't know.
It seems like he teaches it to him. I don't know. He's a kid.
And then he says, yeah, something like that. And he says, all right, you're going to protect the village now while I go fight this monster. And Link heads back. He uses the strength of Darmani to defeat this mechanical beast god, and then kills him. The mask drops off and releases the second soul of the giants. And Link realizes, hey, these masks really represent the person's soul, or the person's heart, I think he says. Something like that. I'm like, yeah.
They do, our translation was the masks each contain someone's spirit.
Spirit.
And good masks cancel the evil mask's curse. Good evil mask versus good mask.
Yeah. It also, I love and other people have talked about it before in Majora's Mask. The cool thing is that instead of everyone just being like, Link, you're the chosen one, you got to do it. Everyone is like, Darmani did it. Like they just think it's him.
He gets no credit. So now we are on chapter 6. I don't think we mentioned how many chapters total there are. There's 9 chapters and then a bonus 10th chapter. But we're on chapter 6 now. Time for the ocean chapter. Link is very... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm really excited by this opening. Chapter. I'm really excited by this opening.
Link is very excited as well. He's never seen the ocean, but there's a pirate ship.
But I love that he's never. I don't know if the game ever says this, but I was like thinking like, oh yeah, like Ocarina of Time is one of the few Zelda games where there's no ocean, because most of the time like Link's Awakening, like it's an island surrounded by ocean, you know, and so like, but this Link Ocarina of Time didn't really had like a lake and that's about it. This is the first time that he's seen like open ocean, which is really really cool. That they like acknowledge, like I've never seen this in all my travels. It makes me excited to like point that out.
Yeah. Plus pirates, they're also exciting.
Yeah, plus some sexy pirates show up.
They're sexy pirates. Yeah.
Because they reskinned Gerudos from the last game.
Oh, is that what they did? And turned them into sexy pirates? Okay.
Yep.
So he's looking out, and like on the bow of this ship, there's is what you call it, the bow, the front spike. What do you call the front spike? There's
starboard. I don't know.
Those are the sides.
Oh well, shit.
There's a fight happening up there, and like a sword fight, and somebody gets knocked overboard. And Link swims out to save them, and he's calling out for. Oh, there's like a professor on the shore who's like, "Hey, don't go out there. You need a boat." And he's like, "Nah, I'm just swimming out there." He's calling out for the guy who's been knocked out is calling for the pirates, and he's like, "The egg, we need the egg." But it comes to it's a Zora named Mikau, Micah.
Yeah.
Mikau. Okay. He's the guitarist of the Indie Go-Go's. Is that what it's called in y'all's? Okay, a super
That's in the game.
popular Zora band, and he
He's our
says
guitar
that
hero.
he's the guitar. Yes, the oceans turned weird, and then the vocalist Lulu laid a strange egg and then lost her voice. Then the pirates stole the egg, which is a lot to unpack all at once. But yeah, so Link says, "All right, I'll go after it," and then Mikau says, "Wait, let me play a song for you first." And he learns the song, and Mikau's like, "Wow, you're really good at music." And then Mikau dies, and he leaves his mask behind. And so, cool.
There's a
Nice
lot
to
of
meet you.
characters that die in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you got to get their masks. You got to get their spirit. So Link puts it on, and he turns into a Zora, so he can go swimming. And he goes in after the ship. He eavesdrops on the leader of these pirates, Mistress Avail, who says that the egg is the key to the giant floating cloud offshore. And that's what at least that's what the little demon in the mask told her. So now Link is like, all right, there's all these guards in there. He aggravates a beehive to scare all the guards. I do like this scene where they're all just running around scared of bees.
Is that a real puzzle in the game, Chris?
It is in the game.
What? I did not expect that. I'm glad it is.
That's
This
the
game
Monkey Island.
rules.
That's the Monkey Island shit right there.
Yeah. He takes the egg, and it looks like just like a big pearl in a bottle. And then Mistress Avail is like, I thought I already took care of this guy. I'm like, what? How's that possible? You never met Link. Then I realized, oh, she thinks he's a Zora. Yeah, that's right. And they fight again. So then, while they're fighting, a giant turtle rises up out of the ocean and topples the ship. But thankfully, the lake professor is there in a boat to save Link. Then the turtle tells us, okay, I was awoken by the calling of the egg, and I was told of the ocean's crisis. Okay. The professor is going to take the egg to safety while the turtle takes Link where he needs to go to fight the giant masked fish, Gyorg. And Link, as the Zora, has the power to like surround himself with electricity, beats the fish, sea turns to normal. We get more lore here as well about what all is going on. Lulu's voice should return as well. She was part of a clan that protected the bay a long time ago, and because the bay was in crisis, she laid an egg that informed the turtle of the crisis. There's a lot happening here that we just like kind of blazed right past.
Yeah, there's a lot of deep lore.
A lot of deep lore.
The important thing to talk about is that Link is a Zora. Everyone thinks it's Mikau, but he doesn't really look like Mikau. In fact, he kind of looks like a girl Zora. Like,
he does look very different.
I'm like, why would you think this is the same guy?
Maybe it's just drawn like that for the reader, but everyone else sees him to be exactly the same.
I guess.
You know, that kind of thing. Deal.
Yeah, in the game they kind of, he always has the hat. That's kind of the giveaway.
Well, but then, so here's what I'm worried about. That Link returns to his band, and he returns to Mikau's band, and Lulu's voice is back, and they're like, hey, okay, let's have a show. And they put on a performance because Link is just the best, and he's able to do it. What happens afterwards? Do they ever tell the band that he's dead?
They're like,
that's what
I have to go. Bye.
And he just never shows up again. What's worse, to just leave and pretend like you're gone forever, or I feel you got to tell them he's dead.
It's gonna be a real like scary stories to tell in the dark when they find Mikau's like grave and they're like, he died 3 days ago.
then who's playing the show?
Who played at our show last night?
That's messed up.
He was a ghost. I mean, is that more okay? So would it be more happy to think like his ghost played with us, or some kid took his spirit and played with us?
Yeah,
and now
I
he's running around with Mikau's spirit, like in a bag. Like that's creepier to me.
Weird. That's real weird.
Yeah, the truth is worse. You're right, Vince. If you were just like, hey, Lulu, here's the real story. I'm a small boy from another world, and I can assume the form of your dead friend.
And I'm taking it with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this later for other stuff.
Yeah. Weird. So I was getting ready to be like, all right, I wonder who else he's gonna meet. Is he at least gonna tell them that whoever's mask he takes is dead? But no, the first three MacGuffins had like a story and some people to help behind them. The fourth MacGuffin at the beginning of chapter 7, nothing. It's just like Link is already there fighting him, and it's done. It's the last MacGuffin. It's a masked centipede twin thing, and it's gone and it's done.
These Zelda comics always do this. They're like, we've done 3 dungeons. Let's just start like moving through these. Like, we don't need it.
Yeah,
We don't.
yeah.
But the good thing is that those are like the main 3 transformation masks you have. Like
Yeah.
the fourth one is just a one-time use, like special dungeon mask. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, these are the big ones. You know, that you go to basically a ghost place is the fourth world. But yeah, you don't have to see all of this. You know, it's like he fights some ghosts. What do you need?
Interesting, fascinating.
I mean, it makes sense to me. And then this is the third and final day, so the moon is going to be crashing today. It's like I think we mentioned it. We never see like we never have to revert time again after we get to the 3 days.
Link's doing a true speed run. Like he is like, I'm going to do everything all at once.
He's
no time for
cycling the game.
He's done. He definitely played that song where he slows down time. Was that song Double Time? Is that what
He's
it's called?
just good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you play the song, but you play each note twice, and that'll give you twice as much time. So
is that a secret?
I don't know if they explicitly say it.
It's not a secret, as Scarecrow tells you.
Okay.
Or your friends Adam and Chris tell you. Because you can play.
Because otherwise you have 72 minutes of game time before the moon crashes. If you play that song, it goes to 144 minutes, and that's not counting time paused, time in a conversation, going through doors, stuff like that. But the game running for 144 minutes, that's a full cycle with a double time.
Oh, because it's 72 hours, and that's 72 minutes because 1 minute equals 1 hour of game time. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Got it. And then double time. Yeah, look up some song of double time if you don't see the Scarecrow. Or get Adam and Chris to tell you.
I'll be sure to. I'll figure it out.
And that goes for you too, listener. Just text Chris.
That's right. Ask me.
Just text us.
I have so many more tips about Majora's Mask, a 22-year-old game.
You never. It's sometimes it's. How are you gonna know a tip? Yeah, I would have never known to go look up double time. Somebody's got to tell you, right? It's just how it works. Anyway, so Link has cleared 3 of these giants so far. The giants are so big that as they like walk away from Link every other time, their heads are up in the clouds. Like their whole torso is like up in the clouds. This one bends down to say hey to Link. He doesn't like say anything. He just kind of like bends down and he's there. Shows himself.
I love their design. I love how like Link is kind of cartoonish, kind of manga. He matches the style of like the Ocarina of Time manga. And then these guys just, and like even also the robot things just have like such a weird art style compared to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have these
weird
dudes are
lanky.
These like lanky arms, and like their torso really is just like a head also. It's very weird looking, and I love it. It's really cool.
Kind of like almost like a big mask in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Tattle says, hey, come with us. My little brother Tail said that the 4 of you need to. So they head to the town. We don't see the giant actually come with them, but they head to the town. Most of the townsfolk have taken refuge. There's a little kid in like, is this a Pikachu mask? It looks like a Pikachu mask.
Yeah, it's their version. They call it Keaton in Ocarina of Time and also in Majora's Mask, but it's a Pikachu mask.
Is it like a mouse mask or something? Or just
something like that.
Or like a fox or something.
It's definitely like, isn't it yellow in the game with the little like black ear? Yeah.
Yes, it's very Pikachu inspired.
And Link is kind of like looking around for anybody, and this little kid is like, hey, quit snooping, and he runs away, but he drops a letter, and Link sees it, and it's to Anju from Cafe. What? And Link runs and gives it to Anju, and her family is preparing to hide, but Anju's like, oh my god, it's a letter from Cafe, blah blah. She knows he's still out there. She's gonna stay and wait for him. Grandma tells Link the legend of the 4 giants and how they used to live amongst the people before the world broke into 4 pieces. Then they each left, and they walked 100 paces in each direction. And they said they'd come back when they were needed. And Link says, okay, all right, cool legend. I'm going to go look for Cafe. But before he leaves, Grandma finishes the story. He's like, the little demon boy. I forget what she calls him, but he was super sad to see his friends, the giants, leave. So the Skull Kid was friends with the giants. And that's why Tail is so important to capture. Like, what? I'm not sure where that connection came from. But the Link is now understanding a little bit more about what's going on. Skull Kid was friends with these giants.
Yeah, Skull Kid is like a minor character in this like immortal cosmology, apparently.
Mm-hmm. So Link goes looking for Cafe. He sees this little kid in the mask again, and he runs after him, be like, "Hey, where'd you get that letter?" And the kid tries to topple boxes, but it doesn't slow down Link. And he takes off the mask, and it's Cafe, but he's just a kid. What? And he says that he was changed to a kid by the Skull Kid.
I love the posing on Link when Cafe like runs back, and this is all like literally just from the game. He runs back to his hideout and is like, "Phew!" And then Link comes around the corner and is like, "You need to work a lot harder to lose me." And then it says smirk at like it's like a sound that his mouth is making.
It's a good smirk.
He looks so pleased with himself.
He really does. Cafe tells a story about how he was out drinking with his friends, and this little Skull Kid came up and he was like, "Hey, you shouldn't be here. You're just a kid," or something like that. And the Skull Kid cursed him. That's how he does. And Cafe is super pissed about this. He's like, "I can't even go see my beloved again. I'm supposed to be getting married." But they all have the same goal, so they're going to work together. Chapter 8, Cafe shows Link the sun mask that he's made for their wedding ceremony. I guess for a wedding, you've got a sun mask and a moon mask, and you like trade them or something instead of rings. It's all about masks in this world here. Anju should have the moon mask. Anyways, he can't go back to her looking like this. He doesn't want to show his face because he's just a kid. The mask salesman is there now, and he's like laughing. Hee 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 ho ho ho. They're going to go after the little demon because once they get the mask back, I'll have no more business in this world, and I can make a quick getaway. And I'm like, okay, I really don't trust you now, dude. Then, I do really like the scene of the townspeople just like hanging out, processing the crashing moon. I like there's an old man just like standing there yelling at the moon. It's like, "Kid, come down here if you're gonna come down here."
Also in the game.
That old man's great.
He's the head of the Carpenters. He's the guy from Ocarina of Time that he's at the base of the tree in Kakariko Village, just like yelling.
Have I met him yet? I think I just got to Kakariko Village in the game.
Yeah. During the daytime, there's just the boss of the Carpenters is standing there, being like, "Get to work, everyone!" And he's just standing there yelling.
Good character. Characters who just stand there and yell. Important for every game. So then we get Cafe and Link. They are approaching the Skull Kid. They ask him to change Cafe back. He says he has someone that he loves. The Skull Kid just laughs. Hopeless. Shouldn't have thought he would have helped y'all. But then Anju comes to see them. And he sees Cafe. Tattle told her everything because Tattle's also a lady fairy, and she knows how lady hearts work. He wouldn't have cared that he's a little kid. More important that they're together in these last moments before the moon crashes. So yeah, they're together before the end. Link is still sad that Skull Kid's not going to change anything, and so he just yells, "Damn it!" and the giants show up. And
in your translation, so they did actually add some cursing in there. That's cute.
What is it in y'all's translation?
I think ours is just no.
Oh, I see. And they this is my panel of the week. These 4 giants show up, and they're just like holding up the moon with this moon's weird face. It's a great panel here. It's also I don't know, just nice that they showed up to help.
My panel is wall-eyed Link as a Goron, being like, "Oh, jeez."
That is a good one too. So now chapter 9, they are, the moon has not crashed into the world. Tail tells Tattle not to be too hard on the Skull Kid. Skull Kid's like, "Yeah, I never meant to destroy the world." And we get the whole story of the Skull Kid, that when the Giants left, the Skull Kid went looking for them, and he just like ran into a bunch of mean birds and got pecked by them, and he had no friends left, and the mask became his only friend, and it started giving him his deepest, darkest desires. So really, it's all the mask's fault. And then, well, the mask like lifts itself off of Skull Kid's face, and it like starts talking like, "Your only friend? Who'd want to be friends with a loser like you?
You're garbage.
Yeah." And he tries to make Skull Kid like disappear, like shoots a beam at him or something, but Link stops it. And then we get a fight scene between Link and the mask. Well, not really. Mask is like, "Hey, let's play tag." It says you have to be it, and he gives him a mask.
Again, to give credit to the video game, I love the way this animates in the game, because after they stop catch the moon and Skull Kid basically like passes out, the mask like carrying his like passed out face just like dangling, so he's just kind of like hanging off of it. Starts talking to you, and then he just falls off of it, and the mask keeps talking, and you're like, what's going on?
It's pretty brutal. So the mask like runs away and says, "All right, you got to find me. You gotta put on the mask." It's like an Oni mask. I don't know why the evil mask, Majora's mask, would give Link a super powered up mask to come fight him, but hey, seems fair. Link puts it on, turns into like a big old battle god.
Fierce Deity Link or Oni Link, which
yes.
I don't think you get automatically in the game. I think you have to do a lot of shit to get that.
Yeah, you get it at the you go to the moon, the last part, and then every one of the like little children has the mask from one of the bosses, and they're like, "Hey, I'll play with you if you give me your masks." And so if you give every mask that you've collected in the game to them, then they give you the Oni or the Fierce Deity mask.
Okay. So then the mask itself, Majora's mask, like grows arms and legs, and it looks like a real freak. And they fight. Link destroys it, and this powerless mask falls to the ground. Then the mask salesman goes to pick it up, and Link is like, "Get out of here, troublemaker," and sends him away or something. What is it? What happened here in these panels? I had a hard time telling exactly what happened here. Do y'all know?
It seems like he just takes the mask and leaves.
Does he leave? Does he take the mask?
It looks like he slices it in half, maybe. There's a big slash. Like Link maybe does. And he says, "Beady, you little troublemaker." And then the happy mask.
I thought maybe that was
like,
his other mask like flying away. Yeah, you're right. He does like completely destroy it. So he can't even take that mask. Okay. Hey, it's probably for the best this mask is destroyed here. And now it's Carnival Day, and it's wedding time. Skull Kid says that the Giants came back to help him. It's good to have friends. And Link says he's going to leave Termina to go look for Navi now. Skull Kid draws a nice picture of them together.
Link is like, "It's good to have friends," and then finds Epona, who I guess he just skipped over getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you definitely get him from like a Malin equivalent, I guess.
Yeah. Before you do the ocean in the game, you kind of have to go do the horse part first.
Is it a baby Epona? It's not the full-grown one.
Yeah, it's in the past, but you can still ride it. Yeah. So it's
okay. But how is Link gonna get anywhere? He's not even in Hyrule.
He fell down a hole.
Do? He's gonna climb back out of the hole, I guess. I don't know.
No, he's dead.
I don't know.
He's dead.
He's dead. Well, okay, so we do have a bonus chapter to talk about, but I still want to like unpack the ending here a little bit. Who the hell was this mask guy? I thought maybe there was going to be something like this mask guy was Ganon unleashing some evil into the world, but no, there's no Ganon in this.
He's just like a magical dude that's evil, or like is creepy AF, and then has something going on, and we'll never get an answer about it.
Yep.
Damn.
I like it though. It's a fun choice. I think ultimately it's like I would like an explanation, but I think it's a good choice to like.
You don't need it.
Well, you say we'll never know events, but once Shigeru Miyamoto reads the proposal I have for Majora's Mask 2.
Yep, and after he's done making the Mario movie, he's gonna get right on that.
Yeah, it's a direct sequel to the like least successful Although I don't know, maybe there's a less successful. I know critically, Skyward Sword was less liked, but
I
it probably
mean,
sold more copies.
I mean, it was less successful, possibly. I mean, due to the time it came out in, and that is funny that like they knew like '98, Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64 is popping. 2000, like 64 is dead 2 years later. So it's pretty incredible there. But the guy who's been running Zelda ever since, like his first full game for himself, Eiji Aonuma, was Majora's Mask, and that's what allowed him to take over the entire Zelda franchise. So clearly, Nintendo was like, "This guy knows what he's doing," or maybe they just had no one else to do it because he made Skyward Sword. So,
Did anything in the timeline come after Majora's Mask?
I think on one of the timeline splits, this is the last point.
Yeah. Which, of course, Breath of the Wild has Majora's Mask references, but it references all of the games. Like, there's just, I think you can even get a Majora's Mask. There is a mask salesman.
Yeah, I think that's
in
right.
the game.
Yeah, but there's definitely there's the core Hyrule adventures, and then they're divided up amongst all the timelines. But like Link's Awakening, the Oracle games, and this are all the hero after he did his big Hyrule adventure went off and did something in another land. So that's one of these adventures. I like this comic though. I think it's a pretty good.
It's a good comic.
Yeah. I think this story lends itself well to a comic because it does have a little bit more character, and there is a little bit more pathos in what Link is doing as far as trying to fix these areas. And like I said, the areas themselves, we've kind of joked about it, but it's like they don't know that it's him saving the day. They're like, "Oh, Mikau saved the day and showed up for our concert. Good job."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and because it's only four core areas in this game, like it lends itself really well to a comic. Like there's four major chapters, and they're each individual things. As opposed to, I think the Ocarina was like, okay, let's move this along, where they started like doubling up and like kind of trying to montage their way through a few of the dungeons. Like y'all get the picture.
Yeah, because that there's 9 real dungeons and like 3 or 4 mini dungeons on top of that. They're like, yeah, we're not showing every single.
We're not doing all that. That's too much.
Yeah, and I do love the Cafe and Anju storyline. Is it's a very rewarding quest because it takes forever to figure out what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, what you need to, there's enough moving parts of getting the good ending of getting those two together that it is very cool. And I am glad that it's in the manga. It doesn't need to be it is just a side quest. But it's that's the best side quest in the game. So
that's the one people talk about. Are they the same ones I always hear about, the two lovers that you need to get together or something? I guess this is them. Okay.
And it's like I said, it's the game almost always throws you into it, so you almost have to start it. You meet Anju right away, or at least you should, and then you're kind of doing the quest. But then to figure out how am I supposed to solve this? It takes forever before you can finally do it, and so it's very rewarding when you do.
Interesting. Well, there is a little bonus chapter that we should discuss, which I guess gives us a little bit of insight into the mask here. And I guess I want to know if this is in the game, but we'll talk afterwards here. So there's a dragon in his temple, and a human comes up, and he's asking for a place to rest. And this dragon's like, "Hey, did you come up here trying to snatch away my armor so you can get your wish granted? You believe that stupid legend about granting wishes?" And Traveler's like, "What legend? I'm just a traveler. I don't know what you're talking about." And the dragon's like, "Well, the humans came up with this legend, and they kept showing up here, and some of them tried to fight me, some of them tried to make friends with me, so I just ate them all. Tired of it." And this traveler is like, "All right, well, I showed up because I did hear there was a man-eating monster up here, and I was kind of wondering how much time this dragon spent alone." And the dragon's like, "Huh, I am alone." And then there's the dreams and wishes of all the people he's eaten start whirling up inside of his tummy. And the traveler pulls out a drum from his bag and he starts playing some drum beats. And then the dragon starts dancing. And the dragon dances for 3 days and 3 nights straight. And on the fourth day, he rests and he disappears, and only his armor is left. And the traveler carves his breastplate into Majora's mask and seals away his power into the mask so that he'll no longer be a menace. And that's the story of Majora's Mask.
Okay.
Was that anything?
I think it was them killing time. There's the little chapter intro says like we didn't know what we were doing. We figured like this is stylistic. It'll be cool because like even it's an adult Link. It's not even like child Link. Like I don't think they had much of an idea of what the game was supposed to be.
Wait, is that meant to be Link?
No, I don't think it's supposed to be.
Oh,
Link.
okay.
Yeah.
That's like an old hero or whatever creating this thing,
Oh,
or hero or villain ? Mark.
That's my calamity hero. That's my Skyward
Maybe
Sword
that's
hero.
maybe that's that's the mask salesman as a young boy.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's sort of mystical. None of that is in the game at all. I forget. The mask salesman has some storyline of like, oh, they did these horrible rituals with this mask, the people who made it, and that's why I had to seal it away in my bag where no one could ever get it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, the dragon was neat. I thought the design on him was pretty cool. Yeah. I guess it didn't matter though.
It was a cool idea. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. This was really fun. I loved the style of it, and like I said, I think this lends itself better for a manga than Ocarina of Time. There's too much story in that comparatively, and this is a lot shorter.
Mm-hmm. And it just it just makes sense. I don't know. Everything worked super well with this one. I really loved it.
Yeah, because I had never read any manga or manga until this. I read Ocarina and I really enjoyed it when we read it for the show. I think we even did a 2-parter in like summer 2020.
Yeah.
And then I immediately started reading the Majora one because I was like, well, let's just go right into the next one. And I think and now I read a fair amount of manga, and these are what got me in, and I like these, and I think that this one's really pleasant. I think of the Himakawa ones that I've read, like Minish Cap is all right. No, there was a Minish Cap one. The Four Swords Adventures doesn't make sense. It's really hard because it's about 4 different colored links, but it's all in black and white, so it's very confusing. Like, well, that's purple and blue. They call themselves that, and I'm like, I can't tell them apart. But and then I think they just finished their like Twilight Princess one, which is like I want to say like 10 or 12 volumes. Just fucking huge, you know. And I haven't read that. I think Link gets his arm cut off at one point. It's kind of wild. It kind of deviates from the game, I guess. I don't think Twilight Princess merits that kind of long manga. Whereas I'm like, oh, I could much more easily have like a bunch of these like side quests because like the Bomber's Notebook guys aren't even in this at all. Not that
they just run around in the background. You never talk to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of side quests in this game that could be fleshed out. It's interesting what they chose to keep and not. As Chris said, they kept the Anju stuff because I mean, a lot of people seem to love that. I think they made the right cuts and the right choices for this.
Vince, it's interesting that you mentioned Four Swords Adventure because our next comic, no spoilers, we still got to talk about our long read here, but our next comic is about color-coded heroes drawn in black and white. Wow. All right, but let's
we'll return to New York with that information in a bit.
So it is time for us to get to our long read though. Superman for all seasons. I guess any last words on Link before we jump away?
I liked it. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm sure we'll return to the Zelda Mangaverse at some point here. But Superman for All Seasons by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. We recently read some Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale, but we did want to do some more because Tim Sale did pass away. What is that? A few weeks ago? About a month ago? Something about
not long ago. Yeah.
Only about a week ago. Yeah.
Lot of DC, a lot of artists in general. Very, very sad, but has a ton of great work to his name. Tim Sale ended up drawing a lot of like period pieces in comics, a lot of origin stories, a lot of just recaps from earlier times, that sort of thing. And he did a lot of his work with Jeph Loeb here. And Superman for All Seasons is just a 4-issue retelling of the Superman origin stuff. In 4 issues, sort of based on the spring, the summer, whatever the other 2 seasons are. And it is.
We'll find out. I don't know what they
We'll
are
find
now,
out.
but we'll find out.
I
I'm
haven't
we'll-
looked that far ahead. The first one, let's just jump right into it. It's being narrated by Jonathan Kent in here, and it's the end of Clark's last year of high school, spring. And Pa Kent is kind of like reminiscing about when they found this baby in the rocket, and how crazy it is to put a baby in a rocket in the first place, and how crazy they were to like raise this baby. They're plowing the field together, and there's a big old rock in the way, and Clark just pretty easily lifts it out of the way. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, okay, no big deal. It's just Clark doing Clark stuff. And then in the next few panels and the next few pages, like Clark and Pa Kent are each kind of acting a little bit weird, and I'm like, what are they acting so weird about? And then I realize, oh, he's just now kind of starting to show his powers. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the classic story is like he was pretty. I mean, like I think it's like from the Christopher Reeve movie. Like he's pretty normal, and then all this stuff starts manifesting it, and as he's a teenager. I don't know how the Smallville show handled it, but I would assume like although like he didn't fully have flying for a while. He could still get haircuts and stuff, which we'll just see in a bit.
Yeah, no Superboy, and that was also the post-crisis. That was John Byrne's origin. Was there was never a Superboy. He's never a baby with superpowers. He's never a 12-year-old with superpowers. He gets them in high school.
And they're having dinner. Lana is at dinner with them. Like I said, Clark and Jonathan are both acting strange. And afterwards, Ma and Pa Kent are talking on the porch, and Pa's like, yeah, he's starting to act a little bit strange, or blah, blah, blah. Abilities nobody else has, all that kind of stuff. And Martha Kent is like, oh, can he hear us right now talking about him? Like, no, he's all the way on the other side of the house, up in his bedroom. How could he possibly hear? But, of course, Clark can hear all this because he's getting his super hearing. We have Pete Ross, who exists in this universe. I always forget Pete Ross was like a character, but, I guess he's real. He and Lana and Clark all go to the general store where people are just hanging out playing poker at a table. That's cool. And there's like a counter where I guess you can order some pop or something like that. And Clark realizes, oh my God, I forgot I was supposed to go get a haircut today. And he goes next door, and he's sitting in the barber's chair, and he can see through the walls. And Pete and Lana are talking about him. And the barber goes to cut his hair, and the scissors break on his hair. Oh my God. And the Chief Parker sees this, and he's a little bit suspicious. Clark kind of tests his speed by racing against a train, and later he's standing alone in a field, and his dad goes out to talk to him. He's like, Dad, I'm scared. Yeah, makes sense. Then there's a big old tornado, and Pa's trying to gather up all the hens, and Clark... I like this. Clark is like flying through the tornado, but it's not clear if he's flying or if the tornado has just kind of lifted him up. But I kind of like this as an origin of how he got to fly in a way. And he sees a guy pumping gas and goes down to save him before it all explodes there. After the tornado, the town is absolutely destroyed. Ma and Pa Kent are safe. They were down in their little... a little bunker area. And Clark is like, man, I could have done more. He tries to go to talk to the pastor at his church. Pretty useless. He's like, oh, what if one man could have stopped all that destruction? And the pastor's like, nah, it doesn't exist. It's fine. God just decided this is what it's going to be. It's fine. Then he graduates. There's a scene where he takes Lana flying. And I knew it had to be like a fake dream sequence because that's not how flying physics work. He's like holding Lana by the hand, and they're both flying through the air together. And I'm like, no, if this was real,
and he can hold her like so she's not like swinging in any weird way.
Right.
Like, she's also being able to like hold out straight.
Yeah, if this was real, she'd be like flopping down from her arms, just like being held up
from the point.
But it is real.
Point of gravity. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the point that Kia draws the line of reality.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Superman. He must have hit his head on a rock. He's dead. This is all a dream.
This is all a dream. He fell in a hole. Oh my God. But no, this is real. He really tells Lana that he's got like powers and stuff, and that he wants to go help as many people as possible. And she's like, "Oh, well, you'll have to leave Smallville for that, won't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, gotta tell my parents." So he tells them he's leaving, heads to Metropolis, goes to work for the Daily Planet. And there's all these headlines about a new hero. We meet Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane. Lois will not go out after work with Clark. She has a date with Lex Luthor. I do like balding, redheaded Lex Luthor, who's wearing his hat at the end of the date, and Superman flies by and knocks the hat off because he's kind of a dick. I like it. Ruins the end of the day. Lois wasn't going to go home with Lex anyways. Saves a kid. Cool costume. Thanks, my mom made it for me. Yeah, nice. And then Lex is watching him fly away. Doesn't like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the plot of that issue. Nothing we haven't really seen before, but it all reads very nicely as you're going through it. Art's beautiful. It's Tim Sale art.
The art's great.
Well, and they added a colorist I don't know if they'd worked with before, Bjarne Hansen, who makes it like much more like pastoral looking. Like the colors don't look like Long Halloween or Dark Victory or a lot of the Tim Sale I've read. Like it's got a little more depth to the colors. They're not just like single colors, which really works. And I can't tell if it's inked different. Like it looks a little more scratchy than Sale's art does. That I think just makes it look a lot more just like American pastoral farming land. And I really like it. It's a very good choice, I think, for this issue.
I think with a lot of Tim Sale's art, I think maybe I'm just remembering like the Marvel Color series, but I think it's even in Long Halloween as well. It's like he sticks with very simple, like a small color palette, whereas this does have a much larger palette to work off of. And yeah, it just feels very classic. That's just how Tim Sale's art is. Not like classic comics, but just like, I don't know, it feels
not
classic.
Norman Rockwell, but it's not like, it doesn't look like Norman Rockwell, but it's like achieving that same kind of like feeling.
Yeah.
That Americana. And it works really well for this. I do think we have, as you said, we've seen this a lot before. I'm like, am I reading another Superman origin? Because like we go to the list of like what Superman books should be like. Well, we should read Birthright. And I'm like, that's another Superman origin. For all seasons, that's another Superman origin. Like there's a lot of Superman.
Of Superman origins, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, it is. Like I don't have a lot of positive things to say about the story because it's so decompressed, and it's like I've seen this in TV shows and movies and the cartoon adaptation. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like it's fine.
Yeah, it's framed from Pa Kent's perspective, which I think is a good choice to make it like slightly different. But again, we've seen all this before.
Yeah.
And it did come out in 1998 before we had seen all this in a lot of media.
But we'd only seen it in the Christopher Reeve movie and Lois and Clark.
And the John Byrne comic.
Yeah, that's all true.
And the cartoon came out this year.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was 98 or 99.
Oh, I love the Superman animated series.
Yeah, you've talked about that. We really do need to dig into that at some point. Speaking of cartoons.
Speaking of cartoons. Well, next time, of course, we're going to do Superman for All Seasons issue 2, which is spring. And then
Summer's next time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Summer. You're right. We just did spring. We're going to be doing summer. We're also going to be returning to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they're going to return to New York. So we're reading TMNT from the original series by Eastman and Laird, issues 19 through 21, which is them reuniting, which says a lot about what was going on with this comic if issue 19 is them reuniting. But I guess the cartoon came up during this time, got super popular. The movie happened.
I think the cartoon had been out for 2 years by the time they got to issue 19. The cartoon had already been out for 2 years, and the movie is a year away.
The Ninja Turtles were a phenomenon. They
which is why,
but
like,
I guess
all, like,
the comics.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can talk about this next time.
We'll talk about it next time. But yeah. But the comics are them returning to New York, returning to the roots, and apparently this is a pretty well-known 3-issue miniseries within the Turtle canon here, a pretty important one, and for setting up a lot of storylines. Way back when we read the first 7 issues of Ninja Turtles, and we
also
we
summer
had a great
2020. I think like probably right around the Zelda issue. episodes.
Yeah.
I remember by
so-
issue 6 or 7, they were in space.
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Didn't
God,
they?
the
They killed
aliens.
Shredder in issue 1. I think Shredder's back by
was
this
quick.
point. The one.
He's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
back. Yeah. But no, it's a good timely time to talk about the Ninja Turtles as well. They just got a new video game, which is a super classic style beat 'em up.
Have you played it? It's so fun.
I've watched a walkthrough. Beat 'em ups aren't really for me, but it was a lot of fun to watch.
It's on Xbox Game Pass. My son, who never gave a shit at all about Ninja Turtles, despite the numerous times me and my sister's husband have tried to push it on him, started making his own Ninja Turtles fanfic after playing Shredder's Revenge. So
Amazing.
Wow.
he's in. It's on Game Pass. It's on Switch. We're having a blast.
Yeah, it is crazy that they've managed to just like return to the roots of the video games in such a. I guess it's not technically the roots. There was that one first Ninja Turtles NES game.
Yeah, it feels like an advancement of Turtles in Time. I haven't played Turtles in Time again yet, but gone back. I'm sure it'll be rough compared to what this is, but
oh yeah,
it's fun. The whole game is like 2 hours long, which is the right length for this type of game. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's a lot of fun. I didn't realize how many toys I had of Ninja Turtles because like every boss, I'm like, oh, I have that toy. I didn't know his name. But I was really happy. I rolled credits on it yesterday, and we're about to beat my son Bruce's file. I think we're gonna do that tomorrow. So, and me and Chris and maybe Nick from Your Stupid Minds are gonna play it online some point soon.
Nice. Very good, very good. What else is going on? What else y'all playing? What else is Your Stupid Minds doing?
We just recently, our most recent episode was A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
Hell yeah.
Where you can see Daniel Craig and Kate Winslet before anyone knew who they were.
Wow.
In 1995, yeah.
Yeah, a really shitty Disney movie from 1995.
Definitely saw it in theaters. Because I love Thomas Ian Nichols from, or Nicholas, I don't know, from Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Saw Rookie of the Year multiple times in theaters.
It's so much worse than Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I know.
Really
I was disappointed. I'm like, this is not up to his usual standard. I think I tried to read a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court as a result of that movie coming out, and I did not get far because that's a Mark Twain book.
Yes. Very little connection to the movie.
Really?
Which
Shocking.
Which is mostly about him commissioning rollerblades from a blacksmith.
I think he did teach them how to make bikes, right? Like he taught them how to make steel so he can make a bike also.
Yeah. He gets them to make a bicycle, which falls apart immediately. So at least that part was correct.
That sounds right. Right.
Oh, King.
Very good. Vince, what else is going on with you?
Nothing. Just hanging out.
Yeah, man.
Re-download every episode of Some of My Friends Read Comics. Get us more downloads. Check them out. Go check out that Zelda episode from 2 years ago. I'm sure it's great. Check out our Ninja Turtles episode also. I loved that comic when we read it 2 years ago.
It was a really fun comic. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the summertime. School's out for the summer, as I think Alice Cooper said that. No, was that Al? Was that
David? I think it's Alice Cooper.
Okay.
School's out forever.
I don't know. Why do I mix Alice Cooper and David Lee Roth up? Oh, did he do Hot for Teacher? I guess that's a different kind of school song.
That's the opposite. You're still in school when you're Hot for Teacher.
Yeah. No, we're gonna be playing a lot of video games and reading a lot of comics again. I think that's all we got to talk about. Chris, I love you.
What? I've been transformed into some kind of demon.
I tried to trick him by doing it opposite, but it didn't work. Vince, I love you.
I love you too. I won't abandon you like those gods did.
Thank you so much. Listener, we love you as well. Thanks so much for being here. Hold on a second. What if I play the Song of Time and try it again? Is that the right song? I don't know. It's
really
playing.
It's like do 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 do. No, that's the Hyrule song with the because it's the shape of the Triforce with the C buttons. I think that's just the Zelda's lullaby, right?
I don't know. Okay, well, hold on. Time is reversed. Chris, I love you.
Who are you? We've never met.
Damn it. Ah, fuck. I fucked it up even more. We're out of here. All right. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.